So we are now recording. So welcome to the Lesser & Co joint webinar with Starling, which I think is the third in a series of webinars we're running on a continuous basis. So we thought that was a good way of sharing information with our clients. So effectively, we've reached out to Starling. Lesser & Co been actually switched our business banking to Starling during the lockdown. Because I've used Starling personally for quite some time, at least 18 months, and impressed with the app and the functionality. And I think it was only a matter of time. And we had a couple of catalysts to move us towards Starling, specifically around the bounce back loan and just to basically improve our banking processes because the app's so easy to use. So also basically, I would say 70-80% of our new clients that set up or come to us may already know about Starling and be setting up with Starling, or I'll recommend Starling, and that tends to be the route they go down, and clients are pretty impressed with the setup process and find it pretty smooth. And there's a bit of due diligence you guys do, Ollie, where you ask for a letter from the accountant. So we provide that. And then, something we're setting up imminently is our partnership portal. So all good from my point of view. Free business banking. The other thing I really love is the notification you get when there's any activity. So that's good, obviously, for fraud and things like that. Just gives that extra comfort, and really easy to manage your affairs, and the integrations with the bookkeeping software as well. I think it's really, really good. So I think Xero's been connected for a while, but now Starling's been connected with QuickBooks, I think, for quite a few months. So that was kind of the missing piece a little bit in the jigsaw for us to really push Starling to our clients, because we're probably 80% QuickBooks in terms of back clients, which I won't go into, but yeah, so the bank feed, that works really well. And yeah, all good. So I'll hand over to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Keith, and really excited to be working with you on the webinar today, and hopefully I can give some of your clients a bit more of an overview of Starling and some of our key features that you mentioned there as well. I'm just going to share my screen just so that you can all see the presentation, so just bear with me. Should be able to see that go live now. And what I'll do is I'll just give you a brief overview. I look after our accountancy partnerships here at Starling, so I head up our partnership program and work with Keith and many accountants across the UK to support their clients when it comes to business banking. What I'm going to do today is give you more of a general overview of our business current account offering, and then I'll leave a bit of room towards the end, Keith, so if there's any questions and answers that I can help support on, let me know, and if any questions come through, I'm obviously happy to answer them. In terms of our offering then, so Starling was started out as an idea back in 2014. We're founded by Anne Bowden, who is our CEO of the bank, and she was very keen to build a different kind of bank to what was traditionally always set up. So our bank is very much focused on technology and the way that we interact with it day to day through an iPhone or Android, and it's very smartphone focused. So we've come a long way. We're fully licensed, we're multi-award winning, and we have 4 different account types to date. So we offer personal, business, joint and Euro banking. In terms of our accounts, all of the accounts that we offer at Starling are protected up to the £85,000 or equivalent financial services compensation scheme as well. So that's where a lot of customers who are considering banking with Starling, they like to know that the fact that we are fully licensed as a digital bank and that your funds are protected in the same way to a traditional high street bank. In terms of some of the key features then, Keith has already mentioned some of them, but where we stand out against some of our competitors is the fact that we do offer essentially a free business banking proposition, and we can do that very quickly. So with our account, there is no fussy forms, there is no waiting around. We hear anywhere from 1 to 6 week waits with a lot of the traditional high street banks, and I think that's been probably highlighted more than ever at the moment because of the climate that we're in. So what that allows you to do as a new customer or business that wants to apply with Starling is you can download the app and you can apply in about 5 or 10 minutes, and we typically review applications on the same day to 48 hours. So you'd certainly have a much quicker, significantly quicker account opening process as part of our onboarding journey, and you'll also have a very strong value proposition because we're not offering any, we're not charging any monthly fees or annual service charges for our account. So we're very competitive in terms of pricing. As Keith mentioned, we're fully integrated with the likes of QuickBooks Xero and Free Agent. So once you are integrated with any of those softwares above, it will allow you to essentially not have to manually upload your statements again. That will pull across in real time. So when you make a transaction with Starling and you're connected with QuickBooks, for example, that information should essentially pull across in real time, and that'll keep you on top of your transactions when you're using us with your account. We are also part of the current account switching scheme service as well. So we're very popular with a lot of existing business customers who are considering a new bank when it comes to supporting their business banking requirements. We're one of 40 banks that are part of the switching scheme process, and we take that hassle away of switching with basically a few taps within the app. You can let us know once you're ready to make the move. We agree a 7-day working day period to do that. And then all of your direct debits, standing orders, and any payments that are coming into your existing account will be closed and redirected to the new Starling account. In terms of what we offer at Starling, it is obviously app-based and digitally focused. We also do have an online banking facility as well. So if customers do want to take it offline onto the desktop, you can. We do offer in-app 24/7 customer support as well. And you can also contact the team by the phone. So we're available 24/7, and essentially our sort of internal phrase is, if you're working or awake, so are we, so that we can support your needs. We do also support business overdrafts and business lending, which is on one of my other slides coming up. And we can support sole traders, owner-managed businesses, so single directors and multi-director businesses, along with LLPs and registered UK charities. Some of the other features that Keith mentioned, we do offer on our account instant payment alerts. So if you are receiving a payment from one of your clients or an invoice, or you're making a payment out of your account, you do get a real-time notification as and when money enters and leaves your account, but also for any bill payments that are expected to be due out of the account or leaving your account, we will notify you as well that that's happening. So it's just a nice way to keep on top of your cash flow and see what's going into your account with your balance reflected in real time. I think, but also as Keith mentioned, from a security and fraud perspective as well, being able to see what's leaving and entering your account will certainly help from a risk perspective as well, with the ongoing fraud that happens, with people's accounts day in and day out across the banking industry. You can also automate your expenses, so we'll automatically put your expenses into business categories for you, and we do have a spending analytics tool in our app as well, which will really clearly show you where you are spending as a business based on the categories that you're spending. So if you're doing a lot of shopping or traveling by train, which many of you may not be doing at the moment, it will obviously categorize that into a transport or expense category for you, so you can really clearly see where you're spending or where your money is going when you're using the account. We do also, because we are digital, a lot of people think we're just app-based or online. We do also have a third-party relationship with the post office, so you can deposit cash easily at any of the 11,500 branches across the UK. And we also do accept checks on the account as well. We have 2 ways that you can do that. You can do that from either a check upload scan facility now for lower value payments up to £500, or you can also free post that into our free post check clearing facility address, where you can then upload your checks as well. As I mentioned, we're fully integrated in our marketplace with Free Agent, Xero and QuickBooks, so you can connect to those services in minutes from the app, and it typically takes under a minute to connect to those services. And once you are connected, as I mentioned, you get a real-time pool to simplify your bank reconciliations. You can streamline your workflow, and as me and Keith were just talking about, in terms of making tax digital and MTD coming in, any of those softwares are completely compatible with that, as well as our own toolkit. So ultimately, you're keeping on top of your finances, and that information is pulling across to your software in real time. And that really just takes away the manual processes and frees up your time, instead of having to, again, I'm sure this is something Keith doesn't do, and I'm sure he'll mention if he does, but having to pull across receipts manually or bank statements and paper. It's been able to digitalize that process and make it a lot more streamlined.
Yeah, thanks, Ollie. Just quick, I don't know if you want to go back to the original slide. I was just going to mention something very quickly. But the point about checks was really good. And what I would also say is I think the process for the checks, for the low value checks, works better than other banks. And sometimes with other banks, paying in low value checks doesn't work on the app. And I was just going to add on this multi-director piece. So the way that works, because I've done it, is each director would download the Starling app, and then effectively the app links to the application. So you don't even have to be in the same place. So this idea of getting everyone together for an appointment to go to a physical branch doesn't need to happen as well. It can all be done remotely. The director just authorises individually on their app, wherever they are in the world, effectively. So just wanted to add that, because again, I thought that was a good experience in terms of setup. So.
Yeah, so any of the listed directors or appointed PSCs, as Keith mentioned, can start the application. And then within the app, what you actually do is you send out those invitations to the additional listed directors who want the oversight on their account. They'll receive the invitation, and then, as Keith mentioned, you'll start the application process to then complete that and join the application altogether as well, which makes it more seamless than, as Keith mentioned, having to go in branch. And the difficulty of trying to get an appointment or actually get everyone together as director of the business all in one place is very challenging. So we certainly find that streamlines the process for business owners. I'm just going to go past how to connect your account to Starling, but it is very, very quick and easy to do within the app. You just follow a couple of steps. We do have some online guidance. We've created blogs for Xero, Free Agent and QuickBooks as well. And I think Keith mentioned that he's got some content online on his website as well on how easy it is to do that with your bank feeds. With us, you just go into the marketplace that sits within the app. You follow about 4 or 5 different clicks, and it will then integrate you to that service and then pull that information in real time. In terms of who's eligible then, so I've already mentioned it's a limited director, so one single significant control, someone who's part of a limited company with multiple directors, or self-employed individuals. The one type of business we don't currently support is partnership business structures outside of LLPs, and we do get quite a lot of requests for overseas directors. At the moment, we can only support UK residents, so anyone that's a UK resident is someone who's able to typically start the application with us. We do have a criteria on who's eligible to apply, and you will be able to find that in our account T's and C's, but you'll see on our website as well, and looking at the screenshot below, we do quite clearly list the types of entities and businesses in specific fields that we don't currently support, which we would determine outside of our risk appetite. So if you're ever not sure, do feel free to reach out to myself or Keith, and we'll be able to give you a bit more guidance on the types of businesses that we can support. In terms of the journey, it's very quick and easy to go and download the app through the App Store. Keith will actually have his own dedicated link for the practice coming to him shortly for Lesser & Co, which will be able to direct you straight into the application journey. Typically speaking, we need a photo of your ID, so driving license or passport is usually sufficient to verify you as an individual, and then we'll need some background information on the business. Once you've then followed those steps, typically it takes 5 or 10 minutes to complete the application. We can review and hopefully approve the application within 24 to 48 hours. And then what will happen is you'll receive a notification in-app to say that you're approved, and you can then start using the account digitally. And then you can order your card, which will then be sent out to you next day through the post first class. So it wouldn't be unrealistic for someone to start an application today or tomorrow and have their card with them once they're reviewed and approved within the same week potentially. So that's the sort of speed of setup that we're working with. As mentioned, we do also have online banking, so you can not only use the app day to day, which I'd say sort of 95% of the time our customers do, but you can also step away onto a laptop, iPad or PC if you do want to have a little bit more of a wider overview outside of your phone. You can do everything you can do on the app, so bank statements, looking at your balance, setting up your payments, exporting a statement in PDF or CSV, or creating goals and looking at your spending habits as well. The question that Keith asked just as we set up the call was about our toolkit, which we've recently announced. So what you can actually do now is you can actually create invoices. You can send invoices and connect that to your email account. You can also automate your expenses and categorize your transactions. We can set up tax estimates and also record and submit your VAT and link that directly with HMRC to submit that directly through, which is in line with making tax digital. You can also do some basic level bill sorting, and don't have to lose track of your invoices or VAT, because we actually have an interactive to-do list within the app as well. As I was mentioning, this actual service is a very new service of ours as a feature that we offer to our customers. I would probably say this is most suitable for self-employed, sole traders, micro businesses and startups that are earning probably under the £150,000 mark a year, as it is a very sort of basic level of software that can help support you as a business with some bookkeeping and invoicing tools and facilities. But it has been popular since we've launched it. But again, if you want to know any more information, feel free to ask me at the end, or ask Keith, and I'm sure I'll be able to get back to you with some questions you have there.
So I've got a quick question on this. So because sometimes, QuickBooks and Xero, I think the clients that perhaps are more, have skill sets numerically or whatever, and that's something they're interested in doing and they have the time and so on, may be able to manage their own QuickBooks and Xero, or otherwise typically they'll delegate that to ourselves, because it's not easy. And I think sometimes the marketing around QuickBooks in particular, that it's easy, you press a button, is a load of nonsense really, because we've obviously seen it again and again that sometimes with the bookkeeping softwares, clients can have a go at it themselves, and we spend more time unraveling it because it's all wrong compared with had we just done it from the beginning. So that's again why I would say 90% of the time it'll be done by either an in-house bookkeeper for larger clients, or delegated to ourselves. And then occasionally a client will be able to get it right, but that's not necessarily the norm. So I would say that's partly because of the complexity around the software, that it's not as easy as it, nothing's necessarily as straightforward as it appears. And obviously QuickBooks Xero, they're not going to come out and say, oh, our software is really difficult, so you must pay an accountant to do it, because they probably wouldn't get as many people signing up. But so my question on this, Ollie, is, does this, because it would all be within Starling, the banking and the bookkeeping and everything, does this actually create a simpler experience for the client? Like you said, if the number of transactions are lower and the turnovers say lower, not necessarily a multi-staff business.
I think for uncomplicated businesses, as you mentioned, that are maybe at a very early stage of their business life cycle, it's not too challenging to do some or carry out some of these tasks, to stay on top of certain responsibilities within the business. I think that's where we've seen quite a big appetite from business owners, where they've either not got to the point of hiring an accountant, or they feel that they're at that stage in their business where they've not started to work with an accountant yet who can add value to their business. I think for me, where I work with accountants day in and day out, I see how much value accountants bring, not only to the software side of things and supporting the business on so many more things outside of just bookkeeping and tax returns and VATs. It's so much more than that. So I think, to answer your question, it is set up to help simplify that process. But having the guidance of an accountant to help support them on any of these features is important, to getting that information right and submitting it correctly, as you mentioned. I think the main challenge we've got at the moment is our account is only set up so that listed directors and appointed PSCs can currently have oversight or access to their account, and it's the same with the toolkit. So one of the things that our product team are exploring in the near future, which I'm hopeful will be available the end of this year, but naturally things can slightly move based on internal priorities, is to have different levels of user permissions and controls, so that if an unlisted director or a trusted advisor like an accountant wants to then help support their client or their customer, that's something that we'll be looking at, but it's not something available just yet. So this is obviously the first stage of our offering, and that may obviously develop in time as we continue to get feedback from our partners, but also the customers using the toolkit. So that's where we're at on that at the moment.
So I guess that for our clients, I mean, because the cost of this after the 3 months free is £7 a month, it might be attractive for some of our clients who are using Zero to move across to it potentially. So I could see that being one avenue, because we do have some clients that use Zero. I think given our firm tends to include QuickBooks within the package that we give to clients, just because QuickBooks, is quite a, giving us quite a decent bulk discount. So typically we don't charge separately for QuickBooks. Depending on the support, if a client wants more support, then that's a bit different, because that's more of a support rather than the service. But yeah, I can see the attraction here of everything being in one place, especially for a smaller type business. But yeah, the user permissions thing, I guess, because a client wouldn't be doing their corporation tax and so on, effectively, the bank feed into QuickBooks would probably still be the best feature at the moment. But it's not to say that in the future, once that user permission piece is sorted, I can see this. I can see you guys taking a bit of business off Zero, because they're quite a bit more expensive, aren't they, in terms of subscriptions. So
I think for us, Zero are a huge strategic partner within our marketplace, and we have over 100 plus accountants who use Zero as their accounting software, and it's central to the way they work, in the same way that some of the practices we work with are connected to QuickBooks or Free Agent as their main offering to their clients, to help support them connect their software to the services that they need to use, and more importantly keep control of their accounts and obviously connect with yourself for your service. So from our side, there's still a lot of work that we need to do. We're certainly not looking to compete directly, but I think that area of the market, we certainly feel we can solve a problem to those micro businesses that you mentioned.
Yes, and I won't go on too much in techie speak, because our clients won't be very interested, but I suppose another interesting development, which would be if this Starling toolkit could export directly to accountancy software. So Xero and QuickBooks are bookkeeping softwares. They're not accountancy softwares in terms of submission to HMRC. So that would be, I suppose, a development that I'm sure you'll get there at some stage.
The feedback's always really important, Keith, and it's the same with the program that I work on and the toolkit that we're building. Is we want to consistently hear feedback from our partners and also the end customers using the software, because we want to make sure we get it right and the experience is the best as it can be. And again, that's where we've taken on the feedback around the oversight and the importance of accountants having read-only access or permissions to oversee and help support their clients with the new piece of kit. But like I said, it's not available just yet, but it has been fed back to the business. So yeah, watch this space.
I think the other interesting thing, because I'm seeing this a lot more with clients as well, is if it's as easy as the rest of the functionality within Starling, giving an accountant access, not only to produce your accounts, but you might say, well, I'm going on holiday. Can you pay my employees next week for me?
Yeah, payment,
that sort of thing.
Yeah, managing payroll, payment initiation. I mean, again, it's very early discussions at this moment in time, so I wouldn't be able to give the complete ins and outs of whether it would be read-only access, or it would be up for the end director or appointed PSC to decide what level of controls or permissions you can set for a non-listed director or trusted advisor like an accountant. So I'd need to come back and give you a bit more clarity on that once I know more. But the initial understanding is that could vary case by case, based on payment.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, because then there's things like Telaroo, and someone might say, well, I'm so busy. A client might say, oh, I'm so busy, I want you to pay my suppliers or pay employees. So
yeah,
I can see this going in that direction as well. So very good.
Yeah, I just thought I'd touch on the lending side of things. So, I mean, for our business customers, we do support lending up to 150,000 for limited companies and LLPs. If you're a sole trader, you can apply up to £10,000 for our overdrafts. The criteria is fairly standard as a bank, that you need to have a Starling business account. You've been trading for over 18 months, and you're willing to provide a personal guarantee and be over the age of 18 as some of that criteria. At the moment, along with our overdraft, the business lending as well. So we support business loans up to 250,000 and up to 25,000 for sole trader customers. Again, it's fairly standard criteria, trading for 18 months, having a good level of credit, being able to provide a personal guarantee. Where we are, part of the business, the British Business Bank's scheme for CBILS and bounce back loans as the accredited provider. At the moment, all of our own in-house lending is currently on hold. So we're not actually taking on any new business overdraft or business loan requests, and that's because we are supporting CBILS, so the Coronavirus Business Loan Interruption Scheme, and we're also supporting bounce back loans as well. And that's been our main focus for us as a business. So actually now I think we've lent over 650 million to around 25,000 business customers, and that still continues. There's a lot of work to still be done as the scheme's running until the end of November currently. So we're working with a lot of customers on bounce back loans and CBIL inquiries.
What rate can you get on a CBILS with Starling, Ollie?
I work with the lending team quite closely. We wouldn't have a specific set range, but I mean, the deals that I've seen that we've offered customers to have ranged from very late freeze to up to 10%, and it's based on a number of different factors and circumstances based on the application. But I'd say the average rate is around sort of 6 to 7.5%. But we can obviously...
It's kind of in line with what your normal lending would be, anyway.
Yeah, fairly similar. I mean, I'd say we offer probably fairly similar rates to the likes of a funding circle. So I suppose we're challenging the space, in line with, the top four banks obviously offer very competitive rates, but a lot of people are having challenges there. I think we've been able to offer very competitive rates quickly, but I think, they start from late freeze and again, will go up to around 10%. So I think the average is around 6.5 to 7.5%.
We've not had masses of clients going for the CBILS, actually. The bounce back's been more popular.
Yeah, I think because of the ease of the application and the amount the customer or client may have needed. But we've only seen some customers now who are maybe actually originally who have taken out a bounce back loan and now are actually exploring, CBILS actually is the right option for them, or other lending options.
Oh, I thought you can't get both.
Well, you can't, but you can pay off the outstanding facility.
So you can pay back your bounce back loan and then apply for a new CBILS.
Yeah, I mean, our appetite for that is, it would be case by case, but providing from an affordability perspective, it's something that a client could explore. So again,
that's quite interesting. Yeah,
it might be one you want to pick up offline with me on that one, Keith.
Sure.
I think that the last feature that I wanted to probably highlight just from my side was that we do also offer goals within the app. So at the very bottom right hand side of the account, we do have across all of our accounts, personal, joint and business, it's a spaces section, but I refer to it as goals, as what is quite commonly used for a lot of our customers, where you can give a goal a name, add a photo, as well as an amount that you want to target towards as a business. So that may be a new piece of equipment, or you may use it for your tax and VAT returns, or in the near future, once lockdown restrictions are starting to lift, it might be a team lunch or team night out. People use the spaces and goals section for everything. But some people just use it to budget or for business supplies and travel costs. So it's just a way that you can set that balance, and then you can obviously target what you're spending towards that amount. And we do also have a roundup facility as well. So you can, every time you spend using Starling, you can actually set a goal to take that percentage between ×1 to ×10 to the nearest pound, so you can reach that goal quicker. And I think it's just a really nice feature to add to that. And you can also schedule payments towards a goal. So we find a lot of customers using it for VAT and tax management for bills, but again, it's obviously completely used for different reasons across different businesses and personal and joint customers as well. I think that the final thing for me then, Keith, is I just thought I'd leave this page probably up before any questions that come in, but it's just really a bit more of a detailed oversight of all the different products that we offer. So outside of the business account, we do have a sole trader specific business account. We offer multi-currency accounts now for both US dollar and euro bank accounts as well, which come with £2 and £5 a month fees. and that lets you to, allows you to basically hold, send and receive payments in euros and dollars, for clients who are receiving payments in that currency for a very competitive fee. You've got the toolkit, our personal current account, which is still our largest account that we offer at Starling, and then we also offer Euro joint accounts as well. The marketplace sits within the actual account itself, where we offer third-party solutions and products and services to customers that we feel may help support that business or individual with different things that they may need to, to connect to. And yeah, other than that, Keith, if anyone's got any specific questions, then I'm obviously happy to answer them.
Sorry, I'll take myself on mute. We did have a couple of questions in the chat around delegating access to your accountant, and also the partnership portal. So we'll share that with clients. So otherwise, I think we're all good. So thanks for your time, Ollie. I hope everyone found that useful, and we'll leave it there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that, Keith. I didn't want to put anyone to sleep in the middle of the day or afternoon, but hopefully that helps give everyone, a bit more of an oversight about Starling and gives everyone a bit more of an understanding of what we can do to support clients. And yeah, if there's any questions that come off the back of today, Keith, give me a shout, and obviously we'd be happy to help.
Brilliant. All right. Thanks very much.
Brilliant. Yeah, really good.
Okay. Cheers, Ollie.
Take care.
Bye.